I work with the greatest people on this earth. We have 1.3 million people in the Army team, about 1 million soldiers and 300,000 civilians. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't get inspired by them. I never had a dream to serve as Undersecretary in the Army, and I didn't even know what the role was when President Obama asked me to serve in that capacity. And I was in front of my wife, and I said, well, I have to talk to my boss. And she said, take him back, Mr. President, meaning back to Washington. I saw him in Pennsylvania. To learn how you can affect the Army as an institution, but more importantly, how you can affect soldiers' lives and their families' lives. I'm a big fan of public service. I think every American actually should serve, whether it's through the military or Peace Corps or Teach for America. But I think it opens your eyes to a broader experience of being selfless, to be part of a team that's something bigger than yourself. We have 7 core fundamental principles of every soldier in our Army. It is about loyalty, duty, honor, selfless service, integrity, personal courage, and respect. Those 7 core principles is what comprises every single one of our soldiers and every single one of our Army officers. I think a lot of folks think of our military as that we just take orders. We're like everyday Americans. We were raised just like everybody else was, and we take an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But in that Constitution, that I taught to the next generation of military leaders at West Point, it stands for something. It's a blueprint of our country. All men and women are created equal. And yet, we treated over 13,000 Americans who were wearing a cloth of our country, that were serving the military, but we threw them out just because of who they were as a person, just because of their sexual orientation, because they were gay or lesbian. And that was wrong. And I used to question them. I said, well, why do you think during a time of war we should throw out over 13,000 troops that we need, that are Arabic speakers, that are fighter jet pilots, etc.? So when I had the opportunity to go and serve in the Congress, I was going to make a difference. And to me, Judgment Day was always more important than re-election day. I think our country owes our military men and women and their families respect and, frankly, thanks, because they're part of the 1% of America that has answered the call to serve, to stand in front of everybody else and to potentially take a bullet to keep our families safe here at home. And when every American in America goes to sleep tonight, there'll be over 100,000 soldiers in foreign countries serving them and serving their families to make sure that they know that their families back home will continue to be safe. I don't have a hard time getting up every day. I work long hours. There's not a day that goes by that I don't laugh out loud and I'm not smiling about something. My kids, I have a 10-year-old daughter, Maggie Murphy, who's my pride and joy, and my son, Jack, who's 7, my wife, Jenny. My family makes me smile all the time, my friends, and just life. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you should be doing something else. Something about me is that, I'm very passionate about this journey, and I'm excitable, and I want to make sure that they see that and others see it, because if you just take life for granted, you're missing out.